Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Yeah, it's been one of those type of days. Everything is running smoothly, and then the one monitor did not want to switch over to its proper input system, and then the camera for some reason did not want to accept power inputs, and then the cat wasn't going to sit up. I was like, I'm not delaying it anymore for a cat. So, sorry cat, but you may miss out on your kitty treats if you don't get over here sometime. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump in with our comments. Apologies for being late and not streaming yesterday. I actually got sick, believe it or not. I doubt it was the coof, but who knows. But anyway, first time in about a decade, I actually ran a fever. Very interesting. I don't usually get sick, so very exciting. We're doing ginger peach tea with lemon juice and honey today. Hopefully it will keep us running smoothly. I wanted to record a video for tomorrow. I know what I wanted to do. I just did not have a chance to do it. So there may or may not be a video tomorrow around noon. I just don't know yet. And so it's been a crazy day. I fell behind on like everything. And then so anyway. All right, let's get into the comments. Okay, Zang, how's it going there? Daniel, hello there. Sorry, Daniel, I am usually very prompt. But yeah, I just had a couple of little issues. Trail Guide, how's it going there? Good evening. Keegan, Miura, hello there. Stupid auto-playing video. Would you stop? You're distracting me. Thank you. Good evening, Keegan. Miriano, hello. Darren Clift, greetings from Spokane. I hear your state's insane right now. Greetings, Moonbase Alpha Grays. Yeah, I was up there on Moonbase. I didn't see you this afternoon. You must have not have gotten up there till later on. Anyway, hello. Thinking of switching my Pixel from E back to Lineage. How can I back up data apps configurations without twerp? I don't know of a way to do it without twerp. You might be able to, like, configurations and stuff, you could pull in the folders like you would do on Linux. Apps you would have to reinstall, backup data. I'm not sure how you can do that. So, yeah, I don't know if I can help much there or not. Maybe see if there's just a data-only export. I don't know. Let's see. Couldn't find parking space. No, I'm there, but how long am I doing van life for? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. If I do 3 years, I will break even with the cost that the van took me. So if I go 3 years, I will break even from renting in State College. You get the COOF. No, it's COOF. COOF. I don't know if I got the COOF. I mean, I can still taste everything just fine. So chances are pretty low, but who knows? I don't know. Don't worry. Just relax. Everything will be fine. That's all right. I hope you wiped properly. Ooh. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing about van life, though. I mean, sanitary wipes are just a regular part of life. You guys just bought into them more recently. Van life, though, always has sanitary wipes. I think I have about 700 sanitary wipes on board here. I mean, that's what we need to do. Anyway. State sucks. Yes, I'm not alone in hating our governor. Yes. I like the Seattle Real Estate podcast. Sean Reynolds. So I hear a lot of fun stuff about what's going on in your state. So very cool. If you've not checked him out, he's does some pretty good videos from time to time covering news. Whenever I try to back up with twerp, it reverts back to the old OS. Can you give a shout out to my friend? No, I'm not going to give out a shout out to Mr. Salty Balls. Hello, Tech Hut. Greetings. Sorry, missed you. You were on Mars. Oh, that's right. This is your time to go to Mars. You can go to any truck stop and get a shower, pay for one, but they have them private showers too. Yeah, I mean, actually, I have a big pan, and I have ways of taking a shower in the van. So anyway, or you just wait for a rainstorm and just go outside in a rainstorm with shampoo, and you're all good. 56% of all van lifers are boomers. That is actually true, I believe. Sounds correct anyway. Not a whole lot of us youngins out there. But anyway. Well, we have, there was like 2 algorithm things, but I kicked them out. One of them is just an update. California officially passed the Amazon algorithm bill. Basically you're not allowed to use algorithms to dictate employees' work, so no more peeing in bottles for Amazon, I guess. The other one was actually lack of transparency in data sets for health algorithms. In this case, a study at, was it JAMA? I think it was JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association, said they did a study looking at 70 different data sets used for AI training of skin conditions to build an algorithm. And the problem is that most of those studies, I think 80% of those studies had no ethnicity data at all, which is kind of problematic. So my apologies for not having more algorithm news. We just had this weird trifecta that one week where there was a lot. I have no mental state to report to Apple. Hello, Robin. Well, Apple will be the one to determine that. Van life is a great way to keep your kids from moving back in. Yes, indeed. Windows 11 reached release preview. Yes, indeed. We will be covering Windows 11 a little bit here. Anyway, let's go ahead and start jumping on in. Of course, we will not be affiliating ExpressVPN for a while. Will we figure out if they've gone totally mad or not? Let's see, what else? Other updates. It got wicked cold here last night. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the weather tonight, but I was actually running the heater last night, and this morning, so that was exciting. It's a cool 24 in here right now, though, so 24C, and that's a wonderful temperature, so we're good on that front. And I'm actually plugged into power at my friend's house right now because it was just a weird day, and I had to run the processing computer, and I did not get into enough sunlight to keep everything up and going, so just as an abundance of caution. So we're completely full on power, and we're just plugged in, so whatever that happens. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the privacy news. Welcome back to Switch to Linux and the Weekly News Roundup. Today we'll be covering privacy and security news. Learn about all of those fun little things like Apple wanting to report our mental state. That's right. That's right, guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right on in. First, this is actually a good thing. Android 6 and up will start stripping unused apps permissions. So if you have apps on your phone that you do not boot into on a regular basis, I believe the period of time is 2 weeks, it will auto reset the app permissions. So if an app is not being used for 2 weeks and you open it back up, it will have reset all the permissions, and you will have to reconfirm the permissions you would like to give the app. If it's an app you're using on a regular basis, it will not do that. This is an excellent thing because it is making sure that apps are not collecting a bunch of data in the background. So if only this meant that we were getting to be less evil here, yeah, this is the company that removed "Don't Be Evil" from their company slogan. So we have to keep that in mind. But this is a nice feature. If you do not use an app for a couple weeks, it is going to reset everything. And next time you boot it up, it's going to ask you to confirm which permissions you would like to use. Well, that's the good news for privacy. Sorry, that's all we have. Facebook troll farms reached 140 million Americans a month on Facebook before the 2020 most integrated election in the world. And what happened here is that some research went into seeing where all of these, the different links and likes and things on Facebook were. And they found out that depending on the demographic, most of the most interacted with, or not as much most interacted with, but most of the most recommended posts were all from troll farms still. So I thought Facebook was having this big problem after the 2016, but apparently they didn't. So we're not going to read the name of that because we do try to be family friendly on this show. But this is the top troll farm that targets, I believe, African Americans. started in October 2019, remains active, and they are the most recommended. So the revelations of this report include, as of October 2019, around 15,000 Facebook pages with majority U.S. audience were run out of Kosovo and Macedonia, known bad actors during the bad election. That was 2 elections ago. Collectively, those troll farm pages, which the report treats as a single page for comparison, reached 140 million U.S. users and 360 million global users weekly. Walmart's page was the second largest with 100 million. So, yeah, Walmart's getting beat out by troll farms. So the troll farms combined to have the largest Christian American page on Facebook, 20 times larger than the next largest, reaching 75 million users, 95% of whom had never followed any of the pages. Largest African American page on Facebook, 3 times larger than the next largest, reaching 30 million users. 85% had never followed any of the pages. And the second largest Native American page on Facebook, reaching 40,000 users monthly, 90% of whom had never followed the pages. I think that the Native American one is actually the best demographic in this report. The 5th largest women's pages on Facebook, reaching 60 million U.S. users monthly, 90% had never seen them. We actually have some charts down here. So this is your African American groups. So troll farms, the yellows are troll farms, the white are allegedly accurate ones. And then here's your top Christian pages. You can see all of these are pretty much guideposts, of course, if you're not familiar with, is a very popular Christian devotional that is legitimate content there. I actually have friends who have been published in guideposts several times. But everything else here is all just troll farms because Christians are very gullible. We need to start voting no, particularly I'm speaking to you Baptist churches out there. Vote no occasionally when some of these things show up. And here you can see where I say the Native Americans are in the best shape. There's really only a couple pages here that are not bad. And what I don't see on here is the First Nations Bible translation page, because that's definitely trolly. Yeah. So with that, Facebook is still pushing a bunch of garbage that people never sign up to see, and that's because that's who they happen to be. Well, Google Chrome has a new controversial idle detection API. So all of you people working for companies that are forcing you to install certain software on their computers, this API will allow you to tie that software into your browser, and the browser will report back via API if you're actually idle on the computer. This is a big controversial thing. Even Mozilla is coming out going, guys, this is a really stupid idea. Apple even said the same thing. But basically, this is so ripe for abuse because now you can have an application tying into the API to determine if you're actually using it or not. This is huge in the corporate world where people are wanting to install and force install software on your computer. And I got news, if you're working from home and you got a company that's like, all right, you have to use Google Chrome and install this, say, I'm sorry, because of my advanced knowledge of computer security, I cannot run Google Chrome on my computer. You're going to have to allow the fact that I'm going to run Firefox, LibreWolf, or Brave, or something other than Google Chrome. Sorry, you might be risking your job, but that's probably worth it rather than bowing over to this nonsense. If I remember correctly, let's see. I think this is the quote from Mozilla. It's currently specified, I consider the idle detection API to be too tempting of an opportunity for surveillance capitalism, motivated websites to invade an aspect of the user's physical privacy, keep long-term records of physical user behaviors, discerning daily rhythms, and using that for proactive psychological manipulation, hunger, emotion, choice, etc. In addition, such coarse patterns could be used by websites to serendipitously max out local compute resources for proof of work computations, wasting electricity, cost of user, and increasing the carbon footprint. Gotta get those climate change guys into there, without the user's consent or perhaps even awareness. And that really is the big problem, is that how many people are even aware that Google Chrome now can detect how idle your computer is and report that stuff back. So bravo to Mozilla for taking a stand against that. But there you have it. Here's your app, web, GPU, API, platform OS. You can see what we have going on there. So that's kind of dystopian kind of garbage there that Google Chrome now wants to determine how busy you are on your computer. And finally, I wanted to read this from I think it was a Wall Street Journal article, but they paywalled it. I literally read it this afternoon, but they paywalled it from this afternoon to today. So same browser, same computer and everything. I don't know. But anyway, Apple reportedly researching ways for the iPhone to monitor common mental health conditions, including depression. I will also remind you that today, I believe, it was either yesterday or today, Congress had passed the red flag gun confiscation laws. So now what if Tim Cook reports back via your iPhone that you're in a mentally unstable condition and you get a little knock on your door and the police come and confiscate your guns? Just letting you know the world we're moving into here, guys. So anyway, machine learning could analyze data from many iPhones' existing sensors to detect early warning signs. So this is a collaboration with University of California, Los Angeles, and a project for Apple is called Seabreeze, and is called Pi in the company named Biogen. So basically, it's this brand new pharmaceutical company called Biogen that is working with Apple to turn everybody's Apple devices into an experimental thing. Did any of you guys receive the notification that you are now being part of a human trial? I think some people need to go to jail now because that is actually against federal law to conduct human experiments on people without their known consent. I'm talking to you also, Facebook, who likes doing that kind of stuff. But the idea here is that they're working with this big company called Biogen to utilize the Apple sensors and detect if you are mentally ill. And then who knows, they'll be able to do something with that, like, alert the local law enforcement based upon your current location data. So the local law enforcement can come and confiscate all your firearms. So there you have it, guys. Apple does not have any business doing this any more than they have any business searching your phone for CSAM or any of that other crap. Apple needs to sell their devices and keep their devices there. If you still think Apple is about privacy, I'm sorry. There are some serious problems that they're doing. So these are things to keep in mind. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do use affiliates. I'm promoting my affiliate for Mint Mobile today. This is a prepaid cell phone plan. It utilizes T-Mobile towers, so be aware of that. Check your local T-Mobile maps. For the most part, I get very good service about everywhere. I get very good service compared to Verizon or other ones as well. And it's only cost me about $15 a month. You pay for it all up front. And then I'm actually doing the 4 gigabytes of data a month, which is perfect for me. Even living in the van, I still don't go over that. So I don't use my phone for much anyway. You can get up to unlimited plans, which I think allows you to have 35 gigabytes of monthly data before it throttles you down a little bit. But very nice options here, 4 gig, 10 gig, 15, and the unlimited. And the mobile hotspots in these work very well. They don't throttle your mobile hotspots. Anyway, tlm.li/mm if you want to have a look at Mint Mobile. Now, guys, let's have a look at some security news. Alrighty then. Excuse me, I need to cough up some now. All right, that wasn't too much. All right. That was good tea, though. I gotta say, it's good tea. Alrighty, let's see. Any thoughts about VPN? No, I have not researched other VPNs at this point in time. Giving your integrity and not recommending ExpressVPN until that is taken care of. Yeah, I just need to evaluate what's going on with it. So yeah, it's not worth recommending a bad product. I think Mulvad is one of the best ones now, so I might look into them. Proton is good, but I don't think they have a affiliate program as well. But if you are looking for a good VPN, Proton is one you can look at as well. We just don't have affiliates for that. Please do a distro war of Fedora versus Gecko. They're not really related. Fedora is Fedora and Gecko is a OpenSUSE. So generally, I don't do distro wars of distros that are that different. Unless we're just talking about maybe Gecko Linux with GNOME and Fedora with GNOME. I guess I could probably do something like that. Heater kicked in last night and it's running right now. Yeah, my heater, I need to turn it on, but what I notice is it's supposed to kick on, ramp up high, and then it's supposed to regulate its temperature based on what I have the temperature set at, but it didn't seem to do that as much. Like, I have it set to regulate around 24, and it shot up, and it got into like 28 before it finally slowed itself down a little bit. So I don't know, I might need to leave it running pretty much all night to see if it eventually stabilizes itself out to the proper temperature. But that heater is so hot, though. I mean, even on the lowest settings, it is too hot sometimes. And it terrifies the bejeebers out of the cat. The one cat. The other cat's like, what's that noise? But the one cat's like, the world's gonna end! And then, and then I have a problematic cat all night, and I don't want to deal with that either. So, anyway, presenters showing facts of the jabbies doing more harmies than goodies. I found that out after CDC is still trying to overturn that. Yeah. Reasonable for marshmallow for Android, I guess. Are those farms growing the tall, colored hair troll toys from the 90s? Yes, they are indeed. By the way, it's nice to meet you all. Tom's videos just got me from Windows to Linux full time. Would not be able to do it with them. Well, thank you very much. I hope that you enjoy your time on Linux. I just moved my friend over to Endeavor OS for his media PC. So if you're watching, hi. Yeah, absolutely. Tennessee, let's see. I would have quit as soon as the pretender in chief broke separation of powers with the unconstitutional. He did other unconstitutional things first. Greetings, Anna Rita. How are you? Howdy, Robin. Greetings. ABI is a huge security flaw. Absolutely. Fortunate that I work from home 10 hours from the lab, so it'd be ridiculous to force me to get jabbed. I already stated that I am not. They seem to want to keep me. There you go. Like, seriously, some hacker could exploit the API. Oh, I know. Yeah, that's a big problematic thing. I have to choose between engaging in needlecraft or finding a new job. I will start putting my resume in other places. Absolutely. And that's actually what we're seeing all over the place. I mentioned earlier Sean Reynolds' podcast up there in Seattle, Washington, and he said that a large portion, was it like 20% maybe? I forget, maybe it's 8%. I don't know. A large portion of the state workers at Washington are all suing them, saying, I'm sorry, you can't force us to take something. Anyway. Bigfoot has a huge carbon footprint. Yes, he does. He has a huge footprint as well. Use Chrome when I want to check Facebook or my Gmail. After that, it gets closed. There you go. Babbler, how's it going there? Chrome considers poking with a 10-foot pole, but decides against it. I know, right? Ew, what is that thing? Wall Street Journal is always paid well. Well, I was able to read the whole article today, this morning when I was reading through all the news articles. And so when I do that, what you'll notice on the page is you'll see the text spot, and then in a single line, you'll see the Wall Street Journal article. I do that because there's things that I think could be paywalled. So I always want to show you a non-paywalled article. I like going to the source if I can, but I'll go to a summary article from like TechSpot if I have to. More brainwashed zombies, just what we need. I know, right? It's like that lady who dates a zombie, brings her in and to meet the parents. And it's like, I know he's a zombie, mom and dad, but at least I found somebody who loves me for my brains. So, And help me configure a pre-login monitor configuration in Ubuntu. Probably. I can't. Two of the people I'm subscribed to are streaming at the same time. The other channel is Flat Earth Debate. Ooh, Flat Earth Debate. Ooh. Deleted so many accounts in the past few days. One of them refused to delete my account, so I spam customer support with the N-word. They deleted your account. There's a way to do it. Just violate their terms. They'll delete you in a heartbeat. Go get yourself a small generator for the times you need power. I bought a small generator, but there are serious implications of that in a van. Especially since I I focus to always be stealth, and you cannot have a small generator because I have to have gasoline as well, and you can't have gasoline inside of the van. I can have diesel inside of the van, but I can't have gasoline inside of the van. I guess if I could find a diesel generator, I guess. But if it becomes a problem down the road, I will simply install a DC to DC charger, which is going to solve the problem as well. But that being said, for the most part, I don't generally have issues. It's just when I need to run the big processing computer for the entire day and I'm not in the sun. And I goofed up today. I went somewhere where I had sun in the morning and I miscalculated the angles of the sun and it went behind trees, but I was in a place that I couldn't move for a while. And so I'm literally running the processing computer for about an hour and a half in complete shade. And I kind of messed myself up on that. So, but oh well. I that was just me not taking the angles of the sun into consideration. And the other thing I think I need to do is I need to split some of the computer work across a few different days, because I've found that I'm heavier on the processing computer on Fridays. So I need to take some of that required work and I need to split it across a few other days, which is actually going to help, because most nights I start the night with the batteries completely charged. So that's good. Solar's good, but only goes so far. I mean, it depends on your use case. I use PIA. It's a good VPN, best deal I could find, and also use it on Linux. Owned by the same company that just bought ExpressVPN too. So, as the cats are warm, all is good. Yeah. PIA is owned by the same company. Yes, absolutely. The police bothered you yet living in your van? I did actually a video on that on the Van Life channel, which is called Tux Traveler. So if you have not gone over to Tux Traveler, the second to the last video I did, yes, I've had a couple. Basically, I had a Karen who thinks that the public park is her own private backyard, and the same person has called the police on me twice because I dared. I had the audacity to use the public park as a park and park my vehicle and walk in the park. But that's a suspicious looking van. So, yeah. What this country is going to be like in 6 months from now. Yeah. Epic released anti-cheat for Linux. Ooh, nice. Ubuntu's new animal wallpaper so ugly. I don't know. 4K monitor on HDMI. I want to disable HDMI at the login screen. Natural gas powered? I could probably, I could do a propane powered one if I could find that. I don't know. Maybe I need to look into a few options for generators. X-Rand R output, HDMI A off, and the X file is not working. Wife just gave me cookies. Tell Tom I made peanut butter cookies, so he crosses the border to get to try. I'm not going up to that dystopian nightmare called Canada anytime soon. Sorry, Anna Rita. But if you decide to get yourself out, I will be commuting with Bigfoot. But yeah, Canada's getting bad up there. Yeah. Theming and wallpaper 904 is my favorite. Yeah, Parks only for elite, not for you. Yeah, I guess. PIA VPN, but then found Techlor's channel a few days later and got my money back. Oh, good. Very nice. Yeah, Techlore is the best place to go to learn about your different VPNs. All right, let's go on to security news. Well, first up in security news, we just have a brief update. If you happen to have any of these 11 Netgear routers, patch it immediately. There is a exploit that will allow people to take advantage of it, and it deals with a flaw in the parental controls. So our 6400 V2, 6700, 6700 V3, 6900, 6900P, 7000, 7000P, 7850, 7900, 8000, RS400. Go ahead and have a look at the sticker on the bottom and decide whether or not you are affected, and go and patch your router today. Well, let's go on to the next one. The nation-state espionage group breaches Alaska's Department of Health. This is why I am just completely against having all of these medical records on computerized systems. Sure, it might make things a little bit more convenient, but there's some serious problems, and most of the people running these systems just don't know what in the world they're doing. Of course, if you could stick this grizzly bear on them all, that would just be hilarious. I might pay to watch that. But this breach happened on, I think it was May 2nd. They notified Homeland Security May 5th. They shut the systems down immediately, but it is believed that in the 3-day windows, attackers had access to personal data, which is constitutes a breach of HIPAA and Alaska Personal Information Protection Act. And full names, birth dates, social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, driver's license numbers, internal identifying numbers, health information, financial information, historic information concerning a person's interaction with Department of Homeland Security. Well, that's interesting. This is the type of database that should not be on the internet. Okay, it should not be on the internet. Done. Keep it off, because these guys get in there and what's their approach? Oh, we're going to give you a year of credit monitoring service. Okay, let me tell you guys something. Credit monitoring services are useless garbage. They don't do anything. You can monitor your credit. The best thing you can do is freeze your credit and stop borrowing money. All right. These credit monitoring services are completely useless because they get this information. They realize that the standard protocol is to give people 1 year of credit monitoring. Most people think it's a bunch of garbage nonsense, which it is. So they cancel it after the 1 year if they even bothered to set it up at all. And then a year and 5 days later, the criminals get out there and just start utilizing the identities in fraudulent ways. This is a bunch of nonsense. No, the state needs to be seriously held accountable for even maintaining such a database. But I guess that's that. Well, the FBI actually had a decryption key from ransomware attacks, but they chose not to give it to the businesses so that they didn't tip their hand to the hackers that they were onto them. So this is yet again another case of the FBI being absolutely amazing. I mean, if they're not formulating plots to kidnap governors and basically organizing a fake rally at the government in Washington, D.C., then they're over here running CP websites. They did that for a while, if you remember. They ran a CP website, including the entire uploading, distribution, all that kind of stuff of the CSAM stuff that Apple's looking for. They did that for a while. And now people who are hit with ransomware stuff, the FBI could have helped them get their stuff back, but they're like, we're not going to bother. We got to track these guys down. Let the businesses suffer, because that is how amazing the FBI happens to be. They refrained for almost 3 weeks from helping to unlock computers of hundreds of businesses and institutions hobbled by a major ransomware attack this summer, even though the Bureau had secretly obtained the digital key needed to do so, according to several current and former U.S. officials. Key was obtained through access to the servers of the Russian-based criminal gang behind the July attack. Deploying it immediately could have helped the victims, including schools and hospitals, avoid what analysts estimate was millions of dollars in recovery costs. But the FBI held onto the key with agreement with other agencies, in part because it was planning to carry out an operation to disrupt the hackers, a group known as Revil, and the Bureau did not want to tip them off. Also, a government assessment found the harm was not as severe as initially feared. The plan to take down never occurred in mid-July, as Revil's platform went offline without the U.S. government intervention, and the hackers disappeared. And by the way, they're back. But yeah, there you are. There is our amazing government. And people are like, why don't you trust the government? Well, because they do crap like this. That's why. Well, this is auto-discovering the Great Leak. This is another huge leak in the auto-discover protocol in Outlook. The auto-discover protocol is designed to make it easy to set up your email clients, because we've become so buffoonish that we can't even understand, what's an incoming server? What's the difference between IMAP and POP3? I don't know what my settings could be. So they add this auto-discover nonsense and everything so the client can look at your email address, go into the DNS records, and automatically configure everything, and you, like a monkey, just have to put in your password. Oh, excuse me. This is Microsoft, so you just enter your biometric data now, because who wants those useless passwords? Well, apparently there was a huge leak in such nonsense, and in this leak, the auto-discover protocol leaked so bad they were actually able to rip all of the passwords out and match them up with your individual email addresses. So, yeah, that was problematic. Maybe auto-discover is something we should do away with, and maybe people should have to put up with the crazy, crazy difficult task of learning what an email server is, because wowzers, folks, what could possibly be a server, an incoming server host and an outgoing server host? Oh, this is so difficult. I got news for you. It's probably mail.yourdomainname.com. It could be smtp.domainname.com or imap.yourdomainname.com. I mean, I know this is challenging stuff, but I'm telling you, it leads to having stuff like this, which is easily breachable. And finally, we have a ransomware attack on a farming co-op that may cause a food shortage. And these guys are trying to communicate like cute little buffoons with the hackers, being like, your website says you don't hit critical infrastructure, and we're critical infrastructure. We make food. I mean, it's a really good thing that our faker-in-chief told the Russian hackers who not to hit. Pretty please, guys, don't hit these guys in your cyber attacks. Yeah. So anyway, Black Matter says it doesn't hit critical infrastructure. The ransomware group Black Matter has hit a new cooperative and is demanding $5.9 million to provide a decryptor, according to screenshots shared online by threat intel analysts. Quote, your website says you do not attack critical infrastructure. We are critical infrastructure intertwined with the food supply and the chain in the U.S. We are not able to recover very shortly. There is going to be a very, very public disruption of the grain and pork and chicken. Oh, please, terrorist hackers, unlock us now. You can't hurt us. We're critical infrastructure. Yeah, they responded back. I think this is hilarious that the Black Matter terrorist hacker groups has a support line. What a world! What a world! You do not fall under the rules. Everyone will only incur losses. Everything is tied to the commerce. The critical ones mean the vital needs of a person, and you earn money. Since everything is so serious with you, let's come to an agreement quickly and solve everything quickly. Yeah. So here we are. We are communicating with the crazy people. Here is their rules. Now the ransomware terrorist hackers have rules. We do not attack hospitals, critical infrastructure facilities, nuclear power plants, water treatment facilities, oil and gas industry, pipelines, oil refiners, defense industry, nonprofit companies, and government sector. Oh, isn't that so nice? If you're one of these facilities that gets hit by these terrorists, you can just ask them for the decryption keys and they'll provide it because, I mean, come on, guys. What a world we're in. A bunch of crazy wussies running around like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, apparently they threaten them. Do not threaten us. Otherwise, you will stay without decryption. I'm not threatening you. Oh, hold on. I gotta get this one. I'm not threatening you. This is pretty much out of our hands. We can't control what the regulators and U.S. government does. Impact this attack will likely be worse than the pipeline attack. Go buy your stuff from a local farmer. No one will give you decryption key for free. Look for the money. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Working with terrorists doesn't actually work. That's exciting. All right. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page. Subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux if you'd like to help support us on over there. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next time. Alrighty, let's have a look where we're at. Living in a van is fun. Just make sure nobody sprays free candy on the side. Ooh. Canada, look at Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. Australia and New Zealand. In fact, New Zealand will show up in our news at some point in time tonight. But yeah, those two are definitely worse. Canada's up there, and I would put Canada as being a little bit worse than China at this point in time, believe it or not. Wife is laughing her butt off, says, "You're right, Tom. Some more cookies for us." There you go. Yeah. Canada's a socialist utopia. Yeah. Australia makes Canada look sane. Yes, that does that, I have to say. I've been here in a while. Hello, Linux Daily. Greetings. Well, I have a Netgear Nighthawk XR 500. Think you're good? I believe you are. Downloading my passport right now. All right. Hilarious that the Feds set up the honeypot in D.C. and only arrested each other. I know, that was funny, right? Why do you have a gun here? Oh, you're an undercover agent too. Evolution email pulls in the settings when I enter my email address for the first time. Yes, that is because auto-discover. Yay! Okay, gang, I'm off. Pleasure to meet you all. All right, Robin, we'll see you later. We're talking about the same man that shut down our oil production, caused a shortage, and then asked OPEC to increase production, and they said no. Yes, I know. Support line may be better than Cox. Excuse me. I can't laugh that hard when I'm kind of sick. Oh, boy. Yeah. When the ransomware hackers have better support than your legitimate ISP, we got serious problems. That is indeed true. All right. Do some corporateocracy and some of this over here as well. All right. Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the business and the SillyVille edition. Well, today we're going to have a look at a little bit of business, have a little bit of silliness going on in the world, and hopefully we're going to have quite a bit of fun. Don't let Tim Cook threaten you. That's a scary thought. I'm just having bad vibes here. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on with the news. Microsoft confirms Windows 11 requires TPM 2.0 in all machines, even the virtual ones. Restricting this cranked up to Windows 11. That's right. You can't even run our Windows 11 in your VM without TPM 2.0. So, part of this, they're threatening to, we'll get into that in the next article here, but you can get it installed on some other equipment that's not supported, but you may not be able to do updates. They may make you sign a waiver. We'll get into that. But right here, the announcement Windows 11, Microsoft hasn't been entirely upfront on what terms users need to run the new OS. Things like Secure Boot and TPM 2.0 weren't mentioned during the presentation back in June, causing confusion when people want to know if they could have Windows 11 installed on their machines. Thankfully, the problem appears to be solved. The company, though, has tried to make things clear, stating we need to talk about TPM 2.0. So here you are. You can actually, it might be something that your board supports. It's just not set up. So head on over to your BIOS. See if it's something you have that's just not enabled. Most boards from the last 5 years at least probably should have it. Aside from mentioning Windows 11 requires TPM for security-related features, the memo informs us that many recent PCs can actually run TPM 2.0, but the module comes disabled by default. Furthermore, there are instructions on how to enable it by accessing UEFI BIOS setups and looking for labels such as security device input, TPM state, etc. So have a look at your individual board documentation and TPM to see what you can find. Reason for mentioning Intel and AMD is that CPUs have embedded TPMs, meaning you might be able to run Windows 11 even if your motherboard does not feature the module. So you have a couple options. You can also get a separate chip for it as well. So you do have choices if your board does not specifically support it or your processor doesn't, but just be aware that it has to happen. But it turns out that Windows 11 setup warns you aren't entitled to updates on unsupported PCs. Bonus! I think this is a great thing. I would love to have a Windows computer that does not force itself to update every other day. That's quite epic. Anyway, what needs your attention? The following things need your attention to continue installation and keep your Windows settings and personal files and apps. PC doesn't meet the minimum system requirements running Windows 11. The requirements help ensure a more reliable and higher quality experience. We're talking about Windows. There is no high quality experience. It's the nonsense people put up with to play video games and engage in commerce on your stupid platform. But yeah, it's not recommended. Let's see. Installing Windows 11 on its PC is not recommended and may result in compatibility issues. If you proceed with installing it, your PC may no longer be supported and you won't be entitled to receive updates. Well, that's good. We need to do away with entitlement culture. So I'm okay with anything that removes entitlement from anybody. All right. Damages to your PC due to lack of compatibility aren't covered under your manufacturer's warranty. What damages are we talking about with running a software package? What, are you running up the same crap that spins up and down centrifuges in Israeli nuclear mines? What are you guys talking about? My Lord. Talk about fear-mongering. FUD much, Microsoft? My Lord. Why do you people still put up with this nonsense? Oh, it's the best thing for playing games. Yeah, Linux is getting better too. Or here's a thought. Gaming isn't necessarily essential. Just in non-gamer's opinion. You can go ahead and unlike the video now. Jeez. Unofficially running Windows 11 without meeting those requirements will be possible, but we don't know much about the details. It's all murky. We don't know. But yeah, you're going to have to agree to not receive updates. That's exciting. So the iPhone's not. Should it stay or should it go? Let's discuss. This is basically two people from The Verge talking to each other with sheer stupidity. I'm sure that these people are slightly more intelligent than mongrels, but I'm not completely sure from reading their interview. Let me break this down here. So they're discussing this notch. Now, the latest iPhone's going to have a smaller notch, and this raises questions. I mean, we have a smaller notch. I mean, is it time to just do away with a notch altogether? I mean, the notch has been a little bit controversial. Now the notch is 20% smaller than the old one, although eagle-eyed observers had noticed come with the trade-off being a little bit taller, too. So, ooh, it's taller but shorter. Ooh. A new and improved notch is still a notch. A big notch, too, compared to the hole-punch cameras and teardrop cutouts like competitors like Samsung and OnePlus have offering on their flagship phones. Naturally, we here at The Verge have some thoughts on the subject, and is the notch worth it in 2021, or does it go the way of the dinosaur? Now, understand, they're framing this in terms of the notch. Here is what Chaim says. I've been using a notched iPhone since the iPhone XS first launched, and I'm a notch apologist at this point. Compared to the bezel-heavy style that preceded it, it's an obvious improvement. It's hard to go back to the older phone SE style. And while a lot of Face ID-based features have turned out to be pretty gimmicky, looking at you, Memoji and Animoji, the core functionality is still the same. When it comes to unlocking a phone, Face ID just works, and it works well. And that's largely because it does not need all the tech that Apple fits into it, including various sensors, IR emitters, and the actual front-facing camera. True, Android phones don't have notches like the iPhone, but they also don't have facial unlock systems that work nearly as well. And if the notch is the price to pay for convenience, I can also accept it. Well, I thought we were talking about a notch, not Face ID and other sensors. Because I got news for you. You can do away with a notch, have a little bit of a bevel on the top so that the whole thing is uniform throughout, that doesn't become this giant problem for OCD people. And you can put all those sensors and cameras on the top, not have a notch, and have a little bit of a bezel. And when did this bevel-less idea, who wants this nonsense? So you're just accidentally holding your phone wrong and you start clicking it. This is stupid. All right. So Sean responds back. Sure, I admit Face ID is fantastic. We're talking about notches, not Face ID. What are you talking about? What is wrong with the people at The Verge? I admit Face ID is fantastic. It was the single greatest thing about switching from Android for me. I couldn't believe how easy it is to log into my bank and check my medical records or access and copy-paste my password manager passwords when I made it on my iPhone 12 mini, my daily driver last year. But that's just as much a jab at Android as praise to the iPhone, because what I love is speed, which has nothing to do with my face. Why hasn't Android standardized on excellent, fast fingerprint sensors, one place precisely when I leave my digits anyhow? When did Apple always insist on fitting into the bottom bevel of its phones where I have to awkwardly stretch down while not mounting fingerprint cameras in the iPhone logo? Apple seems to leave it on back of its phones. Sean didn't mention the notch at all. What the hell are you talking about, you morons? And so now this is just these guys kind of, going back and forth. So, of course, here's what it is. This is why you have to have the notch. You have a dot projector, a front camera, a microphone, you have a speaker, you have an ambient light sensor, you have a proximity sensor, you have a flood illuminator, you have infrared camera. Okay, see, here's the thing. You can do away with all the OCD crap by having all this stuff, having it fit in here, and cutting this part off, and having a little bevel that is about 5 millimeters high without a notch. My God. And so they did a Twitter poll. Let's make it a poll. Is it time for Apple to ditch the notch? The notch must die at 49.7%, and the notch is fine at 50.3%. You know what that tells me? Ditch the notch, because half of the people say it must die, and this means that they don't like looking at it. So why don't we go ahead and cater ourselves to that demographic? Because what are we talking about? Having a 5 millimeter bevel at the top of your phone? The humanity of it all! There's a bevel on the top of your phone! I don't get it. I don't get it. Wow. Well, anyway, Amazon says it's permanently banned 600 Chinese brands for review fraud. Chinese companies knew what they were doing, a spokesperson said. So basically, several hundred people. We've covered a little bit of this in the past. You'd receive a product. You had, congratulations, lucky winners. Here's a $35 gift card. You just need to leave us a positive review and get a gift card. Yeah, that's completely against Amazon's rules. Amazon caught on to this, and they just started banning a whole bunch of companies, and it ended up being about 600 Chinese companies are now banned from doing business on Amazon. Of course, they're just going to spin themselves up on a different name and redo it again, and they're just going to stay above Amazon, but whatever. Well, Mozilla's off to being stupidity again. I mean, hey, at least we gave them a little bit of praise for standing against Google Chrome having the idle API. But now they're doing an experiment pushing 1% of Mozilla Firefox users to use Bing instead of Google as their default search engine. So if your default search engine changed to Bing, this is what they're doing. This is one of those things that causes people to completely hate Mozilla. Okay? They're trying to do experiments on people without their consent. Would you stop and ask, would you give us a little pop-up, hey, we're experimenting with how people use their web browser with different search engines. Would you like to participate? Yes or no? I mean, you can get just as much data, and at least people have opt-in. But when people don't know about this and they pull it up and all of a sudden you're searching Bing instead of Google, why are you using either one of them, actually? I mean, Firefox is so open source. Why isn't it using DuckDuckGo and or Start Page, Of course, because Google pays them a lot of money. I'm not sure. Maybe Microsoft slipped them a little bit of cash, too, for that Bing. But those are the kind of things that we're starting to see. But these are the things that give Mozilla a bad name, where they start doing experiments on people's web browsers. So there you have it. And finally, Apple CEO Tim Cook says the company will hunt down every last leaker among you employees. I'm having pictures of Tim Cook in black leather and BDSD equipment hunting down the little leakers. He'll be thrashing them like border patrol agents with reins on horses. Like most tech companies out there, Apple has been experiencing a lot of leaks about unreleased or unfinished products as of late. Cupertino Giant has built a reputation of being among the most secretive in the world, while some tech companies are usually tolerant of information that goes out a bit ahead of time, especially when it builds up the hype and spreads like wildfire. Earlier this year, Apple's legal team went on a crusade against the reputable leakers with a clear warning message that should stop sharing details about unreleased products and services, as they could mislead customers and give competitors access to information they shouldn't have. However, those are not the only reasons the company is against the practice. In recent emails sent to employees earlier this week, leaked to the press, CEO Tim Cook reassured that the company will hunt down and find those who've shared confidential information. At the same time, he expressed that such people do not belong at Apple. Go back to Asia. I have dozens of information, including names and emails and phone numbers of Apple employees, also several internal documents with confidential content, including EVT schematics and the production names. Leaked memo. Tim Cook says Apple is cracking down on leakers. I do a lot of damage to Apple, but I'm not that kind of person. I only publish things that are secret and cannot harm them in any way. But yeah, Tim Cook is actually threatening people. I wonder if these could be taken as actual threats against their person. That's an interesting question. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have affiliates. Today we are highlighting Linode, tlm.li/Linode. I use this to host several client websites, my private VPNs, and a variety of other little odds and ends as well. You can use my affiliate, tlm.li/Linode, get $100 in credit, good for 60 days to spin up some Linodes, play around with it, see what you can do, and then after that, you keep what you want. So with that, let's head on over to SillyVille. Excuse me. All right. How's it going, DT? What's going on there? Windows 11 requires TPM2. Well, then Windows 10 is my better option. Hello, Spin Viking. Greetings. Ooh, wife went to get the blanket and say, hello, blanket, I missed you. Know if KVM offers a virtual TPM. I do not know. Microsoft making things complicated as hell. Thank God for Linux, yeah. My motherboard has TPM, but it is not enabled in BIOS automatically. So I'll be able to use Windows on my gaming PC beyond 2025. Hopefully the Steam Deck is enough to bring most all gaming to Linux. Entitled? I know, right? Best cure for Windows of any version, including 11, delete it and install Linux, and life is great. Absolutely. Windows has fallen off so hard since 7. Windows hold on a PC gaming is the only reason it's in the conversation, in my opinion. If Microsoft followed canonical strategy, offer a free desktop operating system and a loss leader for people to use and discover their other business services. It's two men discussing the notch sound like two kindergarten kids comparing their lunchbox sizes. I know, right? Who cares? Yeah, me and my mental state are arriving late. Uh-oh. Why can't Apple use the layout Samsung used for Galaxy S10? I don't know. Blame all the insanity on GMO food. Yeah, probably. You can probably blame it all on GMO food. Why not? Why can't the front camera be behind the screen and the speakers at the top of the phone? No, we don't need that either. Okay, so that you can block off your camera without blocking off your phone. We don't need the cameras behind the screens. Okay, a little 5mm notch, a little 5mm bevel is not a problem. The notch, though, is annoying because it's like, you got to wrap around. I'm like, why? Tell us what you really think. I know. Notch is still here, and how now they have a poll. Yeah. 600, so about 0.001%. Bing equals garbage. Already gave up on Firefox. Them moving to Bing only confirms my choice. Yeah. Brave search isn't too bad. Yeah, Brave search isn't too bad. Quiet Browser, LibreWolf, a few others installed. YouTube gave up on my Firefox as we were getting cray-cray for my taste. Now I use LibreWolf and Chromium. Yep. I would switch to Brave, but there are Firefox plugins I like, and the creator never ported it to Chrome. Lots of dumb businesses out there use Windows, yeah. Well, let's head to SillyVille. First up in SillyVille, Harley Davidson has a stunning vintage-inspired electric bike going on sale. They're only making 650 of them. It actually does remarkably look similar to the first bike. Now, this link here that the Verge linked to, because we all know how amazing Verge is at doing their work. This thing here is like, so, okay, let me break this down. When you're building a product, you do prototypes, you do a few little tests. You know, you don't play the Wright brothers and the very first thing you did to get off the ground for about 35 seconds, first in flight, you market that as a commercial product. Okay, you have to start in with a little bit of prototyping and then testing. You work out your bugs and all this kind of stuff. So this page here, ultimatemotorcycling.com, they're like, okay, well, it's clearly identified on many of its components as serial number 1. It's definitely not the first Harley-Davidson motorcycle. That distinction would go on to one of the prototypes. Instead, it is developmental platform from which the first truly Harley-Davidson street motorcycle sprang. It's the first Harley-Davidson motorcycle to be considered ready for production, and except for refinements and civilized it as a street machine, it is essentially the same as these models. In other words, stupid website, yes, it's the first Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Okay, when we're talking about the first motorcycle, we're not talking about the prototypes. All right? I mean, just an FYI. But anyway, this is actually what the first motorcycle looked like from Harley-Davidson. This is what you got. I mean, look at them white walls, guys. This is 1905, I believe. Is that right? 1903-04. So you had here the white tires. It looks like a bicycle with just a little gasoline engine there. You got a little single spark plug there, a little gasoline engine. We have a little chain here to power it. I'm not sure if this could be a pedal or if it's, you know, what you'd use on a motorcycle to hold back. Maybe you can pedal start it, I guess. I don't know exactly. But that's what the original one looked like, and this is what the electric bike is looking like. So very similar in design, and probably will be a big seller among Harley-Davidson enthusiasts. But yeah, if you want yours, only 650 of them are going to be manufactured, and they'll probably do more if there's a massive demand. But I know electric bikes are big these days, so there you have it. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Well, we said we'd get to New Zealand. New Zealand police arrest a pair trying to enter Auckland with large amounts of KFC. Thank you to the person who sent this to me. I just had a grand time reading this one here. 2 men tried to reach the city where Koofy restrictions banned takeaways with $100,000, 3 buckets of chicken, and an undisclosed quantity of French fries, police say. Criminals number 1, how dare you breach the perimeter of Auckland with Kentucky Fried Chicken? That's just pure death right there. I mean, to be fair, the KFC is probably more dangerous than the Koof, but in all reality, this is making me want to go get some KFC tomorrow. I'm telling you guys. 2 men have been arrested after the police said they found them in a car with a boot full of Kentucky Fried Chicken and over $100,000 in cash as they tried to cross the border into Auckland despite New Zealand's strict Koofy lockdowns. The men were arrested after allegedly trying to flee from police near the Auckland border. When their car was searched, police said they found a large quantity of KFC as well as the cash and a number of empty ounce bags. The arrest struck a chord with New Zealanders, especially Aucklanders, who've spent a month in strict level 4 lockdown that does not allow restaurants to open or residents to order takeaway food. In such an environment, fast food can take on the aura of high-value illicit substances. Last week, a man was charged by police after posting a social media video of crossing the Auckland boundary in search of McDonald's. Horrible criminals. After the KFC arrest, a police spokesman said officers noticed a suspicious-looking vehicle traveling on a gravel road, and upon seeing the police car, the vehicle did a U-turn and sped off trying to evade police. The vehicle was searched, and the police located cash alongside with empty ounce bags and large quantities of takeaways. Close examination, police have evidence photos revealed at least 3 buckets of chicken, up to 10 tubs of coleslaw, and an undisclosed quantity of fries. While the scene resembles a plot line of a buddy crime comedy, it is in fact a serious breach of New Zealand lockdown laws. A breach of the Kufi Public Health Responsive Act can result in imprisonment for up to 6 months or a fine of $4,000. The men will appear in court for breaching the health order, police say. Yeah, you guys over in Australia and New Zealand, I realize they're 2 separate places, but they're very related in how they're responding to this. Y'all guys are nuts, and you're letting your government do it to you. You guys should be rioting in the streets of Auckland and everywhere else in New Zealand for arresting people for Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's what you should be doing. Well, The Verge has a dirty mind. We've already established they don't have much going on up there, but Google released some new folders. These are privacy folders where, in Google's words, hey, you could put pictures of the new family puppy in there so that your kids don't see them before you have it. Okay, I have a serious question for you, Google. You bought a puppy, you took pictures of the puppy, you hid it in the private folder. Where are you putting the puppy where you're concerned about your kids finding the pictures of the puppy? I mean, I really got to know the answer to this. But that being said, The Verge automatically goes to dark places. So, yeah, these encrypted folders are going to be great for nude-friendly folders coming to Android phones soon. So you can go ahead and hide some sensitive photos behind biometrically locked folders, which, by the way, are still easily accessible to hackers and stuff. So, absolutely, that happens to be that. So, with all that, guys, yeah, Google has some new privacy-based folders, which The Verge goes to dark places and said, this is obviously for your nudes, because, yeah, we all run around taking pictures of our eggplants on our phones. Why are you people doing this? Have you not learned from what was it? Was it the fappening over there with Apple? I don't know. Well, anyway, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. TOMM. You can join us over there on Patreon if you would like to help support the channel. With that, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Alrighty. Does Mint still have to deal with Yahoo search, which is not that bad? I believe they do, and I get rid of Yahoo as soon as I install it. SillyVille, I thought we were already there. Oh, yeah, it's getting interesting. Accurate Windows 10 Windows in general has its place, but it's best in a corporate environment, yeah. KFC. It's KFC, for God's sake. I know. Base KFC dealers. How crazy are a world getting? I know. Come on, you can't bust over the border in search of McDonald's and KFC. More questionable compared to what happens in Indonesia when people were I am McDonald's riot over the rare BTS meal. Imagine getting locked up for possession of large quantities of chicken and fries. Life imitating South Park episode, literally. Did they do that one? I would love to see that one. It's like, yeah, I mean, what are you in here for? I smuggled 3 buckets of KFC over the border. Whoa, keep away from me, buddy. I only do the soft crimes like murder. Whoa. Must miss episode. Why is Tom in a van now? Times were bad, man. Times were bad. I lost too many supporters. No, I just wanted to get out and see the world. So I bought a van in March, and I spent 4 months building it out, and that's why things went kind of slow for a while. And probably about, I think about 2 weeks-ish, we're going to actually start hitting the road and getting out of state college finally. So you missed an episode? You probably missed a dozen episodes. Some serious riots starting to happen. Not good. Yeah, I saw some of that footage. Wowzers. Put it in there. The cloud. Screw with those USB thingies. There you go. Taking photos of our eggplants. I know, right? Orbital KFC deliveries. I mean, I wonder, do they have like DoorDash or something? Oh, no. Oh, no. What about robotic delivered DoorDash? I mean, can we do that? I mean, really? Really? I don't know. Well, I think we should try and summon a kitty cat. Shall we summon a kitty cat? Let's summon a kitty cat, and I got to get out of here because I'm still a little sick, and I'd like to wrap up here soon. All right. Kitties. Kitties. Come on. You gotta come up. You gotta come up. And you gotta come up too. Ooh, the beasties have been fed. The beasties have been fed. They're addicted to that clock, I guess, right? I guess very little gig economy in New Zealand, yeah. Drone dash delivery for KFC. Looks like TJ can't hide from the camera now. No, not really. She tries. She still tries, but yeah, she's like, I don't have a choice. Oh, look at this. Look at this guy. He's a little scratchy kitty. You're a scratchy kitty, huh? You're a scratchy kitty. She's like, I'm out of here. Meanwhile, CJ's just going to sit up there all the rest of the night, probably. At least until I open up the back door to unplug the van. But anyway. Well, guys, we will see you guys later. We may or may not do a video tomorrow. Going to kind of depend on how I feel tomorrow morning. So, anyway. With that, guys, thanks for hanging out. And we will see you when I see